Hello, welcome. I'm Juliana, and above all, I'm a seeker who loves to share. I love to share my insight about the gates, the gene keys, human design, and how our archetypal energies play out in the world, and how we can use these different archetypal energies to support us on our evolution. So what I noticed when I first started following what gate and gene key that the sun was in on any given day was that I would start feeling, not always, sometimes, a lot of the time, start feeling a different emotional experience in myself. And I used to think it was just me. It was just me. I'm just feeling something. There's something going on. What I learned was that the sun was actually highlighting an archetype, and my physical body and emotional body was feeling it. And it was an opportunity for me to look at this archetypal energy and move through it from, if it felt like struggle, to get to the gift of it or to evolve through it. And if it was highlighting where I was already feeling positive and like it was really working for me, that really anchoring that feeling into my body. Because while we don't have all of the different archetypal energy in our charts, whichever chart you're looking at, whether it's human design, the gene keys, or astrology, we all have access to that energy as human beings to use and to learn from and to grow from. So the sun moved into Gene Key 2 on May the 4th, and it's going to be here until May the 10th. And this gene key is all about the shadow of dislocation, or the higher expression of orientation. It's also known in human design as the direction of self or higher knowing. So on the lower expression of this shadow of dislocation, we develop a sense of feeling lost, of floating, kind of untethered and uncertain, not feeling connected to anything. And this is something that kicked in for me a couple days ago. I started feeling this. And gate 2, gene key 2, is not defined for me. In fact, the center that it connects to in my human design chart is completely wide open. And so it's really activating something in my system for me to look at that is not commonly active. So I began feeling this sense of like, oh, where do I fit? How do I move forward? What do I create? How do I get stuff done? Is this even working? I was in this place. I've been in this place, right? Of just feeling unattached, untethered, disconnected from source and disconnected from myself. And what this shadow brings up for us on a collective level is it triggers this fear of, I'm going on a bad direction. I don't know how to make the right choice. What is the right choice? And this really pulls us away from this sense of trusting ourselves and trusting source, trusting the universe. So, and the shadow also plays out in these, there are those of us who really long, I'm talking for myself, I'm sure some of you feel this, who really long for that historical connection of our indigenous populations, how they had that and still do have that to the natural cycles of the earth. And we often judge where we are now on a human evolutionary trajectory, that what we've done, our disconnection from the earth, has done us a disservice. And on some level, I would probably agree to that. But on another level, right, humanity is at this place of going, this sense of dislocation. Where are we going? What are we doing? Why have we moved away from what worked from these people for so long? Why are we living so disconnected, right? So this shadow is playing out quite on a large scale right now. But the illusion that exists in this shadow is that we're lost. And the truth is we're never lost. The truth is that we are a part of the earth. We are a part of source. We are always connected, whether we know it or not. And that we never actually know that what we are moving through right now on a collective level or on an individual level, what it's for. We never actually really know that maybe this is part of the evolutionary process that we need to push up against and struggle in order to evolve into these higher expressions of ourselves that I know humanity is very capable of expressing. So what can happen in this shadow is that we feel lost, we feel out of alignment, we don't know where to go. And then we may create these structures that make us feel like we are in control, that give us the false illusion that actually I have control over this structure, and so maybe I'm not lost, right? Or we float around through our lives just feeling separate from ourselves, separate from our environment, and separate from the people around us. So this shadow, if it's coming up for you, or if you notice it in your life, or even in the collective, it's really giving us the opportunity to go, hang on, even if I don't know what's going on, even if I feel lost, even if I've lost my sense of connection to source or to myself, can I trust that I know that I'm still connected? Even if in this moment I don't feel it, even if when I look out onto the world stage, I don't see it. So the gift of Gene Key 2 is the gift of orientation. And orientation, if we look at it from a nervous system perspective, it's a way that we help ourselves, our bodies, our nervous systems feel safe in our environment. When our nervous systems don't feel safe, we are often in a heightened response where we are either in a fight-flight response or in a freeze response. Dislocation. When we orient our nervous systems or our bodies to our space, we create a sense of safety and we create a sense of connection, and we begin to trust that our nervous systems can keep us safe. So I'd like to walk you through a quick orienting exercise before I continue sharing about the gift of orientation. So to orient your nervous system, what this does is it allows your body to become familiar with what's going on around you, right? Because we go into the fight, flight, freeze response. When we go into those responses, our system shuts down. It goes into, I'm going to keep us safe, right? And so we focus on one thing. We often cocoon, we freeze, we look for all of the ways out. Our heart rate goes up, our breathing becomes very shallow, and we feel like we can't trust where we are. So I'm going to invite you just to close your eyes if that feels right for you, or just if you aren't closing your eyes, just find one place to focus on. And then just inviting you to breathe. So breathing in through your nose and then out through your mouth. So as you breathe in through your nose, breathing all the way down into your stomach, and then exhaling Just allowing your body to settle here in this space. Feeling your seat underneath the object underneath you. Noticing how it's holding your body up in spite of gravity. Your body is being held on whether you're sitting on the floor, you're lying in bed, or sitting on a chair. And continuing to breathe. Good. Now you can stay here as long as you would like when you do this in your own time. Now I'm going to invite you in just a moment to open your eyes and find an object in front of you to look at and focus on that one object. And allow yourself to take that object in. Take in the colors, take in the shapes. Notice how the shadows are falling, either how it's creating shadows or how there are shadows on it. Just allowing yourself to fully take in this object. And continuing to breathe. And now shifting your focus and finding another object to look at. And in the same way, taking in this object like you've never seen it before. Allowing your eyes to fully bring in the shape of this object, the colors, the tones. Just really taking it in. And now, I invite you just to look around your room or the space that you're in very slowly, allowing your eyes to move around your space, looking at everything in your immediate environment. Good. And so what this does is it tells your nervous system, hey, we're safe. Hey, we're actually okay. There's nothing chasing us right now. We can breathe. We can relax. We can listen. We can feel connected to our breath, to our hearts, to source perhaps. Right? So this gift of orientation supports us to create a shift in our awareness or a shift in our actions, which thus create a shift in awareness. And that's what we just did with this exercise of orientation, of orienting. That's what we just did. We shifted the awareness in our bodies. Even if you were already feeling pretty relaxed, the nervous system loves to know that it's safe. It's only ever asking two questions. Am I safe or not? And so the more we can remind ourselves that we are safe, especially if we're experiencing a shadow side of an archetype that's playing out, right? It can feel really unsettling when we do that. We can feel that disconnection. It feels real, right? In our bodies, it feels real, looking for something to give us direction. The best way that we can do that is to orient ourselves, orient our nervous systems, tell ourselves that we are actually safe even if it doesn't quite feel that way. This orientation is a practice of cultivating trust. And I mean, trust is a big word. We can think of trust with trusting the people around us, trusting the universe, trusting our bodies. But trust becomes easier when we can trust our bodies, when we can trust that our bodies are going to keep us safe, when our bodies feel safe. And so when we are in orientation, when we are oriented, this connects to, in the human design chart, your G center, which is all about direction and identity, and really about calling the right things into your life. It's also related to the solar plexus, right? Or that chakra center, the solar plexus. But the solar plexus is an actual part of our nervous system, and it is directly related to the vagus nerve, which is always scanning our bodies to check in and say and ask the question, am I safe or not? And so this leads us into synchronicity, feeling into trusting whatever is going to arise is going to be perfect in right timing. Right? When we are in the shadow of dislocation, we're not experiencing right timing. We're trying to push or we're pulling away, as opposed to tapping into the natural flow and the natural cycles of the earth, of ourselves, of the universe. And it really helps us attune to what we need when we need it. And to be able to trust ourselves, our own internal guidance systems to lead us right. And to know that even if we feel disconnected sometimes, we are still always connected, whether we know it or not. I really hope that resonates with you. I know simply talking that out really helped me. I'd love to hear how this lands, what you think. Thank you.